hopeless till you came around, came around. All this time, you're the only reason I'm not chasing.
So I just started sewing and I made this bag. I wanted to share my journey and my creative process with you guys. I know it's been a while since I've released a video, so I wanted to come out and show you guys something new that I've been working on. And it's pretty much this bag that I've been making. Started from the original sketch of the design all the way up to choosing colors for the design. That was so different from what I'm totally used to, as in like painting. I would just make the color of paint, whereas when I'm making a bag, from the design work to the pattern work to figuring out the colors, this is all new to me. Even the materials, right? I mean, something basic as scissors that we've been using since like kindergarten, getting it precise, knowing their exact measurements, it's all different in its own regard, as in making bags. So this was totally different for me, and it's very simple when you think about it. It's like, oh, here's your fabric, you cut it, you stitch it together. But what's hard is when you make your own kind of bag, because you have to design it yourself. And then here I have to learn how to use tools. Like, for example, the zipper I just sewed. Like, how do you learn how to do that? And there's only one way, and it's by like actually just messing up. And then you finally realize, like, oh, this is how you become great at something. You just do it over and over and over until you perfect it. So this whole process of making this bag had a lot of mistakes, because it was my first bag I've ever made on a sewing machine. As you can see, like I'm constantly making mistakes. So I'm unstitching the thread from the pattern that I've made. Sometimes the pattern is off, or sometimes things are too short, too long. And then understanding your tools, like just the machine down to the thread, and the fabric. It's very difficult to work with, and understanding like how to make things last long. For example, like this is called bias binding tape. This seals off the edges from fraying, and it also holds the bag in place to become tighter. And see, I just make mistakes. This is a very common mistake that people make. They're just not used to, so then I would have to go back and fix it. But working with ripstop polyester was really easier than working with any other fabric that I've worked with. I wanted to talk about how I also got into sewing. And this goes back to me and my dad. When I was a kid, my dad was a fashion designer in the Philippines. And then when he moved here to San Francisco, then to Sacramento, he kind of, he didn't really necessarily show me how to sew. When I first started watching him, I was still a little kid. I was probably only like 5 years old. But I remember even when I was like an infant, watching him sew. This was just his craft. This was his business. And just watching him, how he creates things, his creative side. I come from a family of, all of us are creative except for my mom. My brother is a graphic designer by trade. My sister, she's a communications major and educator, but she also can draw. She could do also like calligraphy and block letters, and she could even draw people. She's pretty good with it. So I would say my family's pretty creative. I'm the least artistic and creative. When I first started, I just kept pushing more and more and more. You know, and my brother and my sister just, I would say, motivated me to become better at what I was trying to do. And, you know, this wasn't my first artistic expression. My first one was obviously drawing and painting. As you guys know, I have a background in that. Then it became cosmetology. I went to beauty school. I learned how to do hair. And then I fell right back into art. And then recently, I decided to begin sewing. I wanted to sew bags. I got into bags last year, making leather bags. And now here I am trying to make these cool sling bags. Also, I made this one a dual bag. You'll see at the end, it also clips on to a bicycle. So it's more made for city riders who ride places on their bike and then they get off and then they can take it off their bike and sling it around their neck. So this was pretty fun. It was very different from what I'm normally used to, but I would like to say that it was challenging, making tons of mistakes over and over again. But overall, it came out really cool. I will probably make about 3 to 4 of these. I don't know. 7 people have already requested it, but this bag took me like 16 hours. It was the very first bag I've ever made, so 16 hours was well enough time spent on this project, to say the least. So yeah, we'll see how far it goes. I do want to make other designs, other collections, but this will be the first release for the brand that I'm making, called Coffee Donuts Greatness. It's about pretty much hard work, sacrifice, and focus. So I wanted to make this bag part of my brand and make it so that you have gear for whatever you're doing and whatever you're pursuing. And it's all about the journey. So this bag means a lot to me, and it's called the Jaden bag because I made it for my nephew Jaden, who rides a bike. And I was like, oh, this would be pretty sick to make for everyone else that I know that pretty much has a busy day and they ride bikes, and they're just getting after it. So I hope you guys like this. It's been a great journey, and this is the first bag I've made. I made plenty of mistakes, and there's going to be more to come. So enjoy. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe and like this, and let me know in the comments below what you guys think.